welcome back to the channel. Wheelman81 here. I thought I'd do a quick video about the end of the dirt bike season. I've been kind of absent from making videos. There's been a couple of races. I've even had some comments about where have you been? So I thought I'd cover, where I've been, how did I finish the season. I thought it'd be interesting to go over how much the season cost me. There might be some people interested in that. And then at the end, I figured I'd go over what my plans are for next season. So as you know, I was racing in both the NMA and the Norks series. I was doing NMA for points. I was just doing Norks for fun. I had a big crash in Goldendale, the first race of that doubleheader. I don't remember exactly which was which, the names and all that. I really hurt my side. I hurt my shoulder. I hurt my hip. I'm still in physical therapy to this day. I make jokes with my wife about how I never had a physical therapist before I got a dirt bike, so it's introducing me to all kinds of new stuff. So after that race, I missed the second of the doubleheader in Goldendale. And then I tried to make it to the next race. I did okay, but then the race after that was a Norks race up near Bellingham. I don't remember the name of the race, but I just decided, I was pretty sore and I didn't really want to go to that race. It's 4 hours from my house. It was just going to be a haul, and I just really wasn't in the mood. So I just didn't go to that race. That was one race that I missed from Norks series. Then towards the end of the NMA series, there were 3 races where I didn't have videos. One of them was that I just forgot my camera. That was unfortunate because that was one I was really looking forward to recording. I'll throw in a couple of pictures and stuff here, but that was, I'm horrible with names. I forget the name of that one, but that was the race in Packwood Hare Scramble. That was the one with the loading dock drop. And the reason I was so excited to record that race was because I had a pretty good video the first year where I did that loading dock drop, where the first lap I didn't do it. It was gnawing at me the entire race. And then the second lap, I kind of got talked into it, got pumped up by the coaches up there, or the crew, and I did it. And I was very excited because I'm very new to riding dirt bikes, and going off an obstacle like that was a pretty substantial event for me. And I really wanted to get video of it this year. And man, I feel like I hit that loading dock drop every single lap like a pro, but when you see the photos here, man, I was goofing it up. I wasn't giving it enough throttle to get the front end up. I was kind of just driving off the end of it. I'll work on it. If we have it next year, I hear that we might not. But then there were 2 races after that one, and those were just camping issues. The first race, which was back in Goldendale towards the end of the NMA season, I went out and made camp, and it was like this vicious windstorm, and my tent kept collapsing. I was trying to cover it from the wind. I couldn't get it to, stabilize. And man, I just got no sleep that night. I didn't really want to go into the race on like 2 hours of sleep. So I just ended up not going. I was thinking, well, I'm doing okay in points. I guess I can miss one extra race. That would have been my 3rd missed race. So then I went to Rimrock, and the same thing happened. I brought my tent, I brought my camping gear, I made camp, and I just could not sleep the entire night. I tried and tried and tried, and by like 2 or 3 a.m., I was like, here we go again, another night of no sleep. I don't want to get up in the morning, go to the race on like 2 or 3 hours of sleep, and then try to race a dirt bike. Rimrock's a pretty tough race with all the rocks and cobbles and stuff, so that would have been a miserable race. So I didn't go to those 2 races, and it was simply just camping issues. I regret that I missed them, but it just happens sometimes. But all that said, the season is officially over. How did I do? Well, I finished 4th officially in points for the season. That's for Senior C. That's the entry level, new guys racing kind of thing. But we're old because seniors for 40 years old and up. There were 2 guys, again, I'm horrible with names. I think one of them is Andy or something like that. I can't remember the other one, but they just ran off with the entire season. I think they were trading first and second place the entire season. I think they'll probably move up next year. I hope they do. That would be the right thing to do if they were dominating the series this year, which puts me in a position next year, maybe, with the rider improvements I made this year, to possibly podium next year. That would be pretty exciting. But even though I missed, I didn't get points for the first race of the year out at the sand race. I missed one race after the crash, the injury, and then I missed 2 races at the end of the season. That's 4 races. You're allowed to drop 2 races points. But even though I missed 4 races, which means I got 2 zeros, I still finished 4th. So I'm pretty happy about that. That's kind of what I was on track to get. It's kind of where I thought I might finish up if I had a really good season. And it just happened, that's where I finished up. So that's awesome. So I thought it'd be fun to go over how much racing in these 2 series for an entire season cost me. I got my iPad here. I was keeping track all year long in a spreadsheet about what I was spending on registration fees and a little bit on travel, things like photos and maintenance, that kind of thing. It was a little more than I thought it would be. I kind of had in my head, just keeping track, and I was like, oh, it's probably going to be about $1,000 or something, and it ended up being quite a bit more. So let's just go through it real quick. My NMA membership and the cost for the competition license total was $65. That's not a big fee. You just pay your $65, you get to race. That's great. So I attended 7 NMA races. I missed a couple for injury and camping issues, So the total for all of the registration fees and the gate fees, and I may have put in here a couple of photos. Sometimes I add them in and forget, I don't know, but that's a minor cost, like maybe $10 here and there. The total for all the races, registration and gate fees was $527. That's for 7 races. Okay, for the Norks races, I attended 4 races. I missed 2. The total for all of that, registration fees, gate fees, and maybe a photo here and there, was $366. Now, I had maintenance to do on the bike because total 11 races. I was planning on doing 16, but I did 11 races. You got to do some maintenance on the bike. So I ended up doing 4 oil changes or minor services, 1 set of numbers because 1 set got ruined when I had a fall, 1 clutch lever because when I had a fall, the clutch lever sheared off. Total for all of that, I did them myself here in my garage, was $183. Now, I still need the end of season major service for the Honda. You got to do fork oil, you got to do valve clearance. You're supposed to do the top end, but I don't think I'm going to do that. But I'm probably going to end up getting a new chain. I don't think I need to do the tires, but I got to do another oil change. Just a major service. So I'm probably not going to do that one. When it comes to stuff like fork oil and valve clearances, I kind of leave that to my shop down in Bremerton that I use. I'm guessing it's going to be $1,000 because when I had the break-in service, that was pretty pricey, and a lot of it had to do with the fork oil. I don't know why that's so expensive, but mechanics charge a lot of money because they're professionals. So I'm guessing that's going to be about $1,000. All right, so then there's travel cost to all of these races. Now, it was all over the state of Washington. Some of them are as close as a 30-minute drive from me, which would be Bremerton if we had the Airport Hare Scramble. And then some of them are way out in Goldendale, and that's like a 4.5-hour drive for me. But I just took, on average, of 300 miles round trip. That's 150 miles out, 150 miles back. And I think that works out pretty fairly because we did so many races on the other side of the mountains or down near Oregon. That might even be on the low side for an average. I mean, virtually all of them. There's Horn Rapids, there's Goldendale, there's the Frostbite and the White Knuckle way up there in wherever that is, up north of Horn Rapids. And then there's the ones like Washagal and a couple other places down near Oregon, Randall, Packwood. So anywho, my FJ Cruiser gets 18 miles per gallon at about 4 miles per gallon. And that might be a little optimistic because with a dirt bike on the back of the FJ and my camping gear, I might not, and mountain drive, it might not be 18 miles per gallon. But anywho, that cost me quite a bit of money. I actually don't have the number here, but I didn't want to just say I don't have the number and everyone knows me as the spreadsheets guy, and that's not going to fly. So I punched in the number real quick. So travel costs for fuel alone, using 300 miles round trip, 18 miles per gallon, $4 a gallon, is $733 in gas. Now, you consider that's a lot of miles. You probably got a vehicle oil change in there at some point, and you could prorate the miles of the tires and stuff like that if you really want to get super in depth. So, but I didn't do that here. That's just fuel costs. If you add all that up, that's 65, 527, 183, 733. That ends up being $2,874. Now that includes the $1,000 that I'm assuming it'll cost for the end of season major service on the bike. So total $2,874. If you just round it up to be conservative, to make sure you got enough money to do all these races, you're probably looking at $3,000 for an entire season. And that's, I travel pretty light. I have a tent. I keep a cot with a tent on it. I eat MREs that I bring from home. It's not like me trying to save money. I just actually like MREs, and it's an opportunity for me to eat them when I'm out camping. It's so I bring my own water. I don't drink beer or vodka or alcohol or whatever. So I'm a pretty cheap date on these trips. So if you're bringing alcohol and fancy foods, you're eating at restaurants, maybe you're staying in hotels or something, it's going to be considerably more. So a lot of these trips are overnight trips. So you're looking at maybe a bare minimum. Let's say you do that end of year service yourself. Maybe you get all these races in for $2,000 total. If you're staying in hotels and eating steaks or having fast food all the time, you could probably be pushing $4,000 or $5,000 for 16 races on the season. I mean, I thought I was going to spend about $1,000 on a season. It ended up being triple that. So there you go, about $3,000 for 16 races total, or however many I did, and 2 series worth of races. All right, so where do I go from here? Next season, I'm not exactly sure, to be perfectly honest. My heart is, if you look back at my videos, my heart is in track driving with my car. I'm getting to a point where with the car that I kind of want to do something more than just track days. Track days are great for driving your car fast in a legal way. It's just that when you go to a track day, you don't know who's there. You're not there with a bunch of friends. You're not there with a camaraderie of people that, like in dirt bike racing, you show up, it's the same guys on the line with you. You get to know their names, unless you're awful with names like me. I just remember the bikes. And you build this rapport with everyone. It's exciting. Like, I'm going to go to the race. I'm going to see these guys I know, and it's great. And I want that for my car. So all that said, I'm thinking about entering some time attack series next year. Now, that's a huge commitment. I mean, $3,000 for a series of 2 dirt bike races is less money than 1 set of tires for my Hellcat. And if you're racing competitively with a car, you don't want to be out there on some crappy tires trying to put down the fastest lap times in a competitive setting. That's just not going to work. You're going to have to buy multiple sets of tires, multiple sets of expensive race brakes. You're going to need to do expensive oil changes, not the $30, whatever it is, the Honda oil, 1 quart that I use for the dirt bike. It's very pricey and it's a big commitment. So that said, I don't know that I'm going to enter both race series next year. I think with me committing to the time attack series, if I end up doing that, and it's a big decision to make, I'm not 100% sure I'm going to do it, but if I do, I'm going to probably stick with NORCs. That's fewer races per year, plus registration is way easier than in NMA. Some of the registrations for those races are just bonkers, annoying. Waiting in line for 2 hours is unsat. Even after online registration, you still wait 2 hours in a line to get your tag, and that's frustrating. With NORCs, if you've pre-registered online, you show up, you get your helmet sticker, and you're done. It takes 15 minutes. It's fantastic. So I think, and looking at the schedules, they don't seem to overlap so much. So if I'm doing time attack series at the Ridge and maybe some racetracks in California, I only have one race per month with NORCs. Now with NMA, you got the doubleheader out in White Knuckle and Frostbite. You've got the doubleheader out at Goldendale, and it's full weekends are blocked off in some instances. So it's more of a time commitment for the NMA series. So where my headspace is right now is next year I'm probably only going to do NMA races, and that's because I'm going to try to get into a track racing series with my car. I don't have anything other than the registration times against NMA, and in fact I like some of their tracks better. I don't think they spend so much time on the motocross tracks. I think they're more of a trail riding series. There's a couple of spots where they are on motocross tracks, but I feel like NORCs always has a motocross track at their races, and I'm not a big fan of the motocross tracks. I'm too inexperienced to be flying through the air, and I'm too old to absorb a landing like that and not buy my physical therapist a new Porsche or whatever. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I think I'm going to do NORCs next year exclusively. Which class will I ride in? To be honest, I'm not a big fan of an age gate. I know I just said I'm getting older. I'm 43 years old. And I get that as you get older, you slow down. And that's fine. It's aging, whatever. But I still feel like I should be in something like open sea. I don't know. Maybe it's the competitive nature in me is like, I don't want to limit my competition. I want to see how good I stack up against everyone. It doesn't matter if you're a 16-year-old rider who's this fantastic phenom, or if you're an 80-year-old rider who's been doing it for 40 years as a non-professional, an amateur rider, or if you're brand new. I want to be out there with everyone, and I feel like when I go into like senior C or veteran C or something like that, and I limit that competition to only people my age, what am I doing? So I think I'm gonna move to like open C, and in NORCs that might be open D. I haven't actually looked at the classes yet, but I'm probably going to move to one of the open classes. I feel like for me personally, that's just where my heart is. So anyhow, that's it. That's where I've been. That's how the season ended. That's how much it cost me. I thought that was an interesting thing to throw in, and where I'll probably be next year. So if you're riding in NORCs, I'll probably see you out there. There's tons of riders who do both, so I hope to see you out there. There's a chance I might show up to NMA races if I've got nothing going on that weekend. Maybe I'll do the opposite of what I did this year, where I do NORCs for points and I do NMA for fun. I hope to see you guys out there. Again, it's great that all you guys are commenting and following the channel and engaging with me at the track. I absolutely love it. It's awesome to have that camaraderie, like I said, and all you guys make that possible. And I hope to see you guys out there next year. Thanks.